You are now tuned into The Money Zone.
Hey guys, welcome to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, guys. I am so excited to be here with you guys. It's been like three weeks? I think it's been like 3 weeks, guys. Tax season. I burnt out, needed a break. Last week, the tax season just ended the day before. I needed a little break, some time to get it together. And then tonight, I'm here. So I'm excited, guys, because we are in April, which is Financial Literacy Month. And as an accountant and as your one of your teachers, I'm excited because this is the month when you guys can be extremely intentional about building generational wealth and becoming a bit more financially literate. And this is also a fun time to start to incorporate your children in the process. So if you are a mommy like I am, and like our amazing guest, Miss Boone, then you want to tune in, because tonight's show we're talking about how to bridge the gap between generational wealth and your children, and balancing it all for mommyhood and creating generational wealth. So guys, if you are a mom, or if you know some moms, tell them to tune into tonight's show, because we're talking about all things mom, children, financial literacy, and building generational wealth. And if you don't have any children and you are on the beginner levels of tapping into your financial literacy journey, then this show is also would be great for you as well, because we have to start from the bottom to get to the top. Okay, so guys, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick little break, but I advise you guys, while we're on break, take a minute to subscribe to our mailing list by going to bit.ly/Folasade Radio. Join our mailing list so you can know about our upcoming guests. You guys can send me questions for our guests, topic ideas, things like that, and then maybe some tips and tricks on accounting and like things that I talk about during the show. So make sure you subscribe to our mailing list as well. And if you are a small business owner and you're looking to market and promote your business, I advise you guys to join me here and allow me to market your business for you on the Money Zone, and while we are promoting the shows as well. So if you are a business and you want exposure, you want to go to bit.ly/the Money Zone. I think it is, guys. I gotta get the link together. But okay, so what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take a quick little break. Do me one favor, share the video, grab your pen and your paper, because you know I'm practical, right? And I want to give you guys some actionable steps that you guys can take to get your journey started, or to peak while you're on your journey of financial literacy. So guys, do me one favor. We're going to take a quick little break and we'll be right back with our guests. Hey guys, welcome to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, guys. And tonight we have a special guest. You guys, look, as a mom, as a dad, as a parent, auntie, or whatever the case may be, we don't want our children to make the same mistakes that we've made, you know. And money is one of those sensitive areas that in the Black community where we find it challenging to really talk about. But we have our special guest, Tyronda Boone, coming on. She is a devoted mother, teacher, author, and financial literacy educator. She has worked in the education field for over 20 years. Ms. Boone was born in Georgia and raised in the Washington metropolitan area. DMV, I saw you. Her Boone's mother was a farmer and her father a sharecropper. Despite their humble beginnings, Boone's father made strides in the military. Her mother embraced entrepreneurship by becoming a family child care provider. Boone inherited their ambition. She earned a bachelor's degree in fine arts from Bowie State University and a master's degree in education and finance from Strayer University. The Prince George's County, Maryland resident currently teaches elementary school music. Ms. Boone, Tyronda Boone, has been in the education for over in the education industry for over 20 years in the Washington D.C. area, and her focus is on creating goals, executing leadership, and practicing diligence are just some of the attributes she believes children need to be champions. Guys, help me welcome Tyronda Boone to the Money Zone.
Hi.
Yes, look, I was supposed to be in the studio, but I'm on my vacation, girl. I said, every time you build your business, you got to kind of put more systems in place as you hit it. I couldn't cancel on you, but I said, let me just see if we can switch it up to the. And
I'm flexible. I'm definitely flexible. No worries. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited because you're tapping into something that is close and dear to my heart, but not my area of expertise. And I'm doing what you are teaching through your amazing program, kind of indirectly with my children, but not with all the extra stuff you got going on over there. So I'm just so excited to really talk about how you got things started and things like that. So guys, you know how I am. I'm just going to jump right into it. Is that okay, Tyronda?
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So my first question to you is, what intrigued you to want to educate the youth, the children, the five? You have like at every age, like 4 to 7. I think it was like 5 to then you have the teenagers. Like, what inspired you to start your program and to start Zoe and Xander?
Well, I was inspired to start this program because I am a mom. I looked at my daughter when she was 4. She's 6 now. And I was going through some financial things, even with my degree in finance. I was going through some financial things and I looked at her and I said, you know what? This cycle has got to stop. I've been an educator for over 20 years, and I know firsthand that most schools do not tap into financial literacy. So our young people, they become adults and they're left to fend for themselves when it comes to money decisions, when it comes to budgeting. They have no real practical experience with managing their money. So to me, it's the equivalent of having a child that wants to play a sport but never letting them practice that sport. How would you even expect that child to perform? But we do that a lot with money. We do it all the time. We may tell our children to save, but we don't give them any real experiences. We don't talk to them about what's going on in the household. We don't give them an opportunity to learn from our victories and our mistakes. So I looked at my daughter and I said, this cycle has to stop. So I wrote the book. I have the journal, some behavior charts. And then I said, I really want to take this further. So I offered classes. And then, when you start your own business, it can be hit and miss. Sometimes I'd offer free classes and nobody would show up. But it was okay because I felt like, this was my mission. This is what really and truly made me happy. So I just continued. I continued to offer the classes. I continued to talk to people, and it's been a true blessing. So I've been very excited. It's been very well received. And I just really want to make sure that we are helping our young people be able to handle money and make wise choices. You know, they're inundated with so much when it comes to the media about, you know, spending and having this car, and it's a lot of peer pressure, like you said, especially in the African American community. We're the biggest consumers.
Yeah.
So it's hard for a young person or a parent to send their child to school knowing they may be teased if they don't have these certain shoes. So I really, really try to talk to my young people about saving for their future self. We're all going to get older. I remind them, hey, I was 4 once, and they kind of look at me like I have 2 heads. But I remind them of that, and I let them know, hey, you know, when you guys are adults, don't you want to make sure that you have all this? And they're like super excited. So, but to answer your question, I just looked at my daughter, and I just wanted things to be different for her.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so I know you don't really work with adults, unless I'm mistaken.
I work with adults. I do.
Okay. So from my perspective, what I found is that if we have not healed from all of the past financial trauma, I've been without, I don't want to go without again. I never had this, so I want this. If we haven't healed from those traumas, then I don't feel as though we can successfully maintain a solid financial journey, because we'll always have that temptation, that lack of discipline, or that trauma that's a trigger for us to kind of break the cycles that we're trying to develop. So do you believe that right now, when you're working with the children, triggering their confidence in terms of not relying on what society's saying? And so it was interesting because you were kind of leading into where I'm going. Do you feel as though helping them with their confidence and helping them in the core of understanding who they are and not being so focused on what society's saying, do you think that will also help them get comfortable with saving and not just spending to keep up with the Joneses and to relieve of the financial curses of them not having and things like that? No, that was kind of long-winded.
No, I think I follow you. So basically, you're saying that because of certain traumas and because of what's presented to us in the media, it's harder for adults to handle money, because a lot of us have that shopping therapy, right? I mean, we love shopping therapy. But I'm honest with my students. I say, what's more fun, spending or saving? And they'll look at me like, because they think I want them to say saving. No, I want you to be honest. It's fun to spend money. But I say, but you know what? It's not fun not to have a place to live. I said, it's not fun to have to work until you're 85 years old because you don't have a retirement account. Then they're like, yeah, that's really not fun. But we have to also remember with children, cognitively speaking, their brain is not really fully developed. I mean, until they're well into their adulthood, like 25 years old. So we just really have to make sure that we're breaking things down for them in a way that's fun. When I talk to my 4 and 7-year-olds, it is all about having fun with money. We're singing songs, we're doing dances, we're playing games, we're going on scavenger hunts. I'm creating brain breaks. It's all about making saving fun, but also having those intrinsic rewards, right? Because when we shop and we buy stuff, that's really extrinsic. We're getting things. I want them to feel excited about saving, because it's not something that they can touch, they can feel. You know what I mean? It's not really something that they can really truly appreciate until they get older. So when I'm talking to my little people, I really want those intrinsic things. I want them to understand that, hey, this is fun. When we talked about saving, I really had a good time. You know what I mean? And so I'll leave parents with some tips and things that they can do after the class is over to continue it, because we wouldn't teach math for 5 weeks and then say, okay, I'll see you next year. You know what I mean? It's a continuous process. And it's the same thing with financial literacy. So my older students, I talk to them about their retirement, and I show them. I say, hey, you know, with compound interest, if you save, you know, maybe $2,400 a year for 10 years, when you're ready to retire at a certain age, hey, you could have $1 million. And they get really excited. But nobody talked to me about retirement when I was 13 years old.
No, me either. I don't
No
think
one had that conversation.
me either. It was like maybe I started the conversation, and it was, yeah, no, I was an adult.
And I didn't value it. You know, in my 20s, I took out, borrowed against my, 403B and did crazy things because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know many people in my circle who don't have a retirement account and haven't really started planning for retirement. And I think that that's a lot, that can be our story, particularly in our community, because we are the trendsetters, right? But in order to be the trendsetters, guess what you have to do? Spend money.
Yeah.
And we're not saving for retirement. We don't have life insurance. We don't have an estate plan. When we leave debt. So I'm really big on generational wealth. And I tend to call myself a financial literacy activist. Like, I'm out here sounding the alarm for children, for teens, talking about student loans, for families. I just want them to get the information. When they get the information, they're very receptive to it because no one ever told them, and it makes sense.
You know what? You're actually true, because I can just speak for my little ones. They are avid savers. You give them $1, they're not spending it. They're saving. They're adamant about it, and they plan according to. So they'll say, "Oh, well, this is what I want to buy. Or this is what I want with it later." But they'll save even for maybe a year or two without touching the money. And so, where do you think that starts? Is it just the conversations that we have to have? Or is it more so practical, or we have to start with the birthday money? Do you have any, where do it start for us to get started with our children? Where do it begin?
Just start. I mean, honestly, really just get started. If your young people do chores, then you can start with that. Really, we should be teaching our young people to save half of whatever they're getting. So if they're saving half of whatever they're getting, and then maybe if you have the ability and you can match that money, it really just gives them more of a real world experience. Like with some of our jobs, we save, they match. Half of what they get, they should save it. I think that it starts right there. And then you can make certain plans for that money. Like my daughter already has a custodial IRA. She has a custodial investment account. She has a life insurance. I've worked on her estate plan, but I've talked to her in 6-year-old terms about this stuff. You know what I mean? Because if you get too broad with them, you're definitely going to lose them. I mean, they still have imaginary.
We probably lose the adults in our conversations. So,
really. Yeah. But, you really just have to continue. You have to keep doing it. Like I said, it can't just be save your money and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
mom isn't a good saver, right? And what if the parents aren't good saver? How do they now begin and help the children get started?
Develop a plan. Sit down and have some real conversations depending on your child's age. If they're, middle school, late elementary, teen, then you can kind of really, hey, there's some debt that we have. If the parents are not good savers and they want the children to be good savers, they need to model it, right? Yep. So you sit down, you have the conversation, you say, hey, be honest. Mommy has about $10,000 in credit card debt. Yep. So, I mean, because I think oftentimes children don't talk to their parents about their financial situations because they may be embarrassed. Mm-hmm. And if the parent was a little more honest about their own financial situation, then it may open the door for more conversation. But be honest, you know what I mean? Because we're all human. We all make mistakes. So, hey, mommy has about $10,000 in credit card debt. In order for us to be able to, move to this level, to make sure that you're okay when you become, an adult, or when you become, a senior, we need to make some changes and just talk to them about the harsh realities. I mean, you have people who are working every day and have to live in their cars. You know what I mean? So I feel like we just need to be very, very honest and transparent. And if your child is a little bit younger, just make it a fun experience. Hey, once we pay off this debt or this certain amount of debt, let's do something fun. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be something you pay for. You can just have a dance party in your house or go to the park. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't have to cost money. But if you're not having these conversations with your children or modeling good spending habits, then we're just going to continue the cycle of debt, and the wealth gap is just going to grow and grow.
I totally agree. And I'm loving the whole conversation. Guys, if you're loving the conversation, definitely go and follow Tyronda Boone at Zoe and Xander One. Follow her. They have an amazing program from children. I think it's called A Financial Success Guide. Is that what? Okay, A Financial Success Guide. And I looked at her website. It's amazing. Like, y'all know the old folks like the bingo, y'all, right? Get the grandmother to whip out the bingo game with the kid or whatever. Kind of incorporate that with the family, game night or whatever the situation may be, or like if you're looking at the numbers, incorporate the children in it. So basically, I love what Tyronda was saying, guys. She said just basically talk to the children, incorporate them with the program. And I kind of did that indirectly. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing until after you're doing it. While I was like kind of building the business and going through that hustle phase, and I had to not like go out often to sacrifice. I had to be honest with my daughter, say, hey, Brian, mom has to sacrifice for the next 2 years. I have to, build the business and do this and do this. And she was for the program. And it's interesting that you said that, because I think if we're honest with them, a lot of that pressure that we may feel from them might go away if we have these real world conversations, because I see moms kind of overdoing it, dads overdoing it, because they don't know how to really have those conversations. Yeah. So from your practical and on the job experience, where do you now, or what do the mom, the dad, or you could do, or the person that's listening to the show right now could do when those conversations are very challenging, when they feel too embarrassed, when they feel like they're too far in depth, or their back is against the wall, when things are tight, like when they have to basically when things are just not where it's supposed to be, and they have to be honest. Okay, I have the $25,000 in credit card debt, and how do they have those conversations? Do they have, because I've seen like YouTubers say, oh, I have like a finance date night, and have your family here and cook dinner and, do the list. Like, how do you think that they're supposed to go about it if they're feeling very plagued and challenged about being honest about their personal financial habits?
Well, every child is different. So I think it's really about knowing your child and knowing the best way to reach them. I talk to my child all the time, probably because she talks to me all the time. She talks all the time. But I can't say the best place to do it. You really just have to, I would say, set a date and just do it. If you want to do it over dinner, that's fine. If you want to do it on the way to school, that's fine. If you want to take a walk and do it, I really don't think that there's necessarily the best way, because all children are different. I think if you want to have those really difficult conversations with your children about money, I believe you just have it, contingent upon their age, make it a game, make it exciting, if they're younger, if they're older, just be honest, because they probably know, if they're older, they probably know. They see the phone calls. They see you ignoring the credit card people. They see, they hear you getting payday loans. They see you at the check. They see, they understand, they know something's going on. And when we're not at ease financially, we're stressed out.
Yes.
We're stressed out. So we really, at the end of the day, we have to put our children first. We have to think about what's best for them. And what's best for them may not be you going out and buying that Chanel bag, right? Because don't get me wrong, I do like Chanel bags, but I would prefer my daughter have enough money to retire whenever she feels, when she gets ready. I would prefer to make sure that my child doesn't have to go to or my family doesn't have to go to probate court, should something happen to me, because everything's already aligned. But I often think about, what my ancestors had to go through. My mother was a farmer. My father was a sharecropper. And my father's family had a very difficult and challenging life. Their struggle wasn't about, can I buy this Chanel bag? It was more of, what are we going to eat tonight? You know, or how are we going to make sure all the children have shoes? And so I feel like, in particular, as people of color, we do owe it to our ancestors to be better stewards over our finances. You know, we are in a situation where we can make more choices about our bodies, our work, and our money. Everything isn't perfect, but we're just in a better situation. So I feel like we have a responsibility to those who came before us, who had to cross the street when some 7-year-old child was walking down the street. You know what I mean? Or who couldn't live where they wanted to live because of racism, right? And had to look down when somebody was speaking to them. We owe them. We owe them. And I feel like we have to honor them not only through conversation, but with our money. So I feel like nothing that we can go through can compare to what our ancestors have had to go through.
Yeah.
So I feel like you just really have to have the conversation with your children.
I love it. I love it. And I totally agree with you that we do owe it to our ancestors. Some people don't agree with it, but we would not be in the position that we are in right now, guys, for all of these opportunities and just flourishing at our choice if we choose to. So let's kind of spare before we go to our commercial break. So if you were when you first started out Zoe and Xander's, and you knew, how did you realize that you were onto something?
You know, it just continued to pick up. You know, like I said, when I first started Zoe and Xander's Guide to Success, I knew that I was onto something, not immediately, but maybe within the first year. I would offer classes and they would be filled up in 24 hours.
Oh, good. Okay.
So that's when I was like, okay, this is something people are seeming to really, really want. And then I would get, as of late, I'm getting different communities asking for proposals, and different organizations and schools asking for proposals because they see the value. They see the value in it. I mean, I don't care what walk of life you're in, you're going to be using money. Yeah. You're going to need money, right? Unless you want to live completely off the grid, and God bless y'all. But most people, you need money for something. So I just feel like it really, really should be a part of the curriculum in our schools. It should be a part of the daily conversations, or at least the weekly conversations in our households, just to make sure that our young people are prepared, because when they leave us, they can make as many financial decisions as they want. They can go out and get 25 credit cards if they want to, and they can max them all out if they want to. That's their choice, right? But we have to teach them about credit. You know what I mean? Don't spend over a certain amount of your credit limit. This is a really good credit mix. We need to have those conversations with them. If they can do this pre-calculus and algebra and trigonometry and Pythagorean theorem, they can learn this information. I've never used the Pythagorean theorem since I left high school, but I still remember the name, but I never used it again. I feel like there are so many things we need to make sure that we're talking to our children about, because society needs debt. Society needs debt. Banks need debt. You know, it earns banks money. So if you're out here living in debt, you're earning the bank money. Yeah. So we really want to make sure that our young people are in control over their debt. And not only that, they're leveraging their debt. Yeah. You know, they're focused on assets. They're focused on things of value, growing their wealth, and not just trying to look like they're, you know, somebody they see on TV or some sort of influencer.
Yes. Oh, goodness. Guys, this is a lot. So head over to Instagram, Zoe and Xander's with an S1. Follow Tyronda, her daughter Zoe. Her daughter, you know, your daughter's name is Zoe, right?
My daughter's name is Zoe. My godson's middle name is Alexander. So I like alliteration. So
I see. I love it. I love it. Head over there and follow them, and just start to get your children involved, because guys, I truly believe that you are, guys, you're working so hard to build some form of generational wealth. That's if you leave your children with $350,000 life insurance policy. That's generational wealth. It may not be riches, but it's wealth. It's money. It's something. And so I fully believe that if we do not train them, they might end up burning through everything that you just worked and sacrificed for. And truth be told, guys, that's the last thing that you really truly want from your children. So you know that you're struggling with the saving, with the budgeting, the crediting, and for all my business owners, their bookkeeping and everything else. If you're struggling with those things, you definitely want to, as Tyronda said, lead by example and just start small. For example, if you never really looked at your bank statement, start there. Just start there. Look at your bank statement. See where your money is going. Don't put no pressure to it. Oh my gosh, I got it. No, just open it up and just dissect it. See what's going on. And then just have that conversation with yourself. Well, did I need that? And then that's where it starts, guys. And then once you get a bit more comfortable, have the conversations with your children and be honest with them. Say, I was uncomfortable talking with you. Mom, why? Most of them be like, why? They so down to earth now. They want you to be open. And I see that now just talking with most children. So guys, this is the time if you're really trying to make impact and change the trajectory of your children's livelihood, their financial wellness and everything else, then you want to definitely look into programs like Zoe and Xander's financial success guide. I think I said it right. Financial success guide. And make it fun and just interactive, and it don't have to be hard. Think about it. When you guys went to college, when we were out there, we didn't know a thing. Yeah. We were winging it. We didn't know about credit. We didn't know about nothing. Do you ultimately want your children to face those uncertainties, but then the ramifications of your lack of education? So guys, head over, follow Zoe and Xander's one on Instagram. Bug Tyronda, go buy the book on Amazon. It's beautiful, y'all. Like she got a lot going on. I couldn't even, how I should have looked at it prior. It was a lot. It was like the bingo game. Then we got the cards. Then we have something else. I'm like, okay, hold on. Okay. She got all this going on. Depth, ABC, this, yes. And so, guys, when we come back, I'm going to ask Tyronda just a few questions, because she gave us, and this is so you guys can now go and make practical, actionable steps. So head over to Instagram, follow them, and don't forget to join our mailing list by going to bit.ly/Folasade Radio, so you guys can see all of our upcoming guests and catch up on all of the resources and things that we have in store for you guys. So we'll be right back. So your refund can still be high, or if it's not the case, your refund would definitely be lower. So that's really a few of the reasons why many of you are going to be shocked, thrown back, taken aback, beat up, disturbed, might be crying in your feelings because your tax refunds are much lower than what you anticipated. Your business is right on that piece of paper that I can maximize, but guess what? Many of you guys took shortcuts in your business. You've been taking shortcuts for years. So you're out of luck right now. You're looking at that pile of paper and you like, yo, you serious, Folasade? Yes, I'm serious. And I'm very serious because right now your bookkeeping is what's going to either catapult your business or be a detriment to your business. And your lack of it is definitely a detriment, especially in the situation that we're in right now, where we all need to be maximizing our deductions and paying as little bit of taxes as we legally could so we can sustain in our businesses and be able to afford our lifestyle. But if you are not doing your bookkeeping, and if you're not keeping proper records, then I guarantee you are not paying the right amount of taxes that you're supposed to pay, or you're not getting the right amount of refund that you are supposed to be getting. So if you are a business owner, the way for you to protect your wealth, your income right now is by making sure you cross your T's and dot your I's and get your bookkeeper in order and stop playing games like you out here not trying to build a successful business. Only people that don't want to be successful don't have an accountant. Only people that don't want to be successful don't do their bookkeeping. And right now, your small business is maybe somebody else's blessing if you were to get your stuff in order. So you need your bookkeeping to make sure that every dollar you spend in your business is written off. Let me hold you to your future. Integrity matters. Honesty matters. Transparency matters. Okay? Accountability matters. Accounting matters. Okay? And being forthcoming matters. But most importantly, being you and staying true to yourself is what really matters. Hey guys, welcome back to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, guys, and I'm with the amazing Tyronda Boone, the creator, founder, with her daughter and her nephew, Zoe and Xander's success. Oh, here I go, guys.
Almost.
Because I be having to do. I'm not good at memorizing like regular stuff.
Fine. You were almost there. You almost had it.
Y'all know how I am, y'all. Y'all know. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Yes.
Zoe and Xander's Guide to Success.
Guys, I really do encourage you to really go and check out the program. If you don't know how to start the conversations, as we did give you guys some practical steps, just have the conversation. But if you don't know how to start conversations, if you don't know how to make learning about finances fun and interesting for yourself or even your children, or if you feel like you're just not strong enough, as you're not knowledgeable enough to be the teacher in this sense, then you guys want to definitely check out their program, because from what I see, and as you guys can see on our screen, it just seems absolutely amazing. And because I love money and numbers, like I'm just like so happy when I see it. And it really intrigues me, because I remember growing up, and you guys are hearing it now. Everybody's talking about, oh, y'all sold grandma's house. Y'all sold grandma's house for pennies on the dollars. if the children were a bit more financially literate, they would have held on to those properties. They probably would have had to maybe buy out one person or whatever, but they would have tried to maintain it in the household, in the family. We would have been able to, like you said, not have all of our, even our major celebrities estates going into, well, financial house going into probate because they lacked estates and wills. So it's just interesting, guys. If we don't have them conversations early, they're going to be afraid of it. Think about every time you guys were in school. I hate math. Most of you say I hate math. Every time someone talks, I hate math. Folasade, I hate counting money, y'all. It's not really math. Yes, you got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But the reality is, counting money should be feeling it. It should be a different feel than math. It should be exciting. I don't know.
Especially when you're counting your money.
Especially
when you're counting your money. Yes.
It should be fun.
Absolutely.
So let's take out the fear. Let's not forget about, let's heal and learn from our past, but let's move forward. We have to train the children now. We've made the mistakes. I told y'all, if y'all been watching for years, y'all know I've been through it, y'all, because I wasn't taught this. So this is why amazing programs like Zoe and Xander's Guide to Success,
that's it,
are perfect, because guess what? It takes it. Just know you guys are going to thank her later, and you're going to thank me later for having her on the show. When your child comes in, you say, "Mom, I got $1,000. Can you go and do this for me? Or can you put this here? Or can you do this? Or Mom, I got this now." Or you didn't even know they got a stash. You didn't even know that they planning this little business. You didn't know that they don't. Just because you piqued their interest and you remove the fear of math and money. So that leads into my next question. Then that kind of allow us to lead out. Where do you think what's the first thing? Are the kids afraid of money when they're kids? Like, I think they're excited about money. I think they love it. So where do it start? Is it your teenagers, or where the cycle begin or end? Like,
So I believe the issues with money starts when they're spending their own money. So when they get their first job, I always tell my students, if I could go back to my high school years when I was working at that law firm, making decent money, and I don't even know what I did with all of that money. If I could go back and find her, they'd be like, "Why is that old lady hitting that young lady? Why is she shaking her?" But I didn't know. And it's not that my father or my mother wouldn't say, "Save your money," but I didn't get the practical practice with saving. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like a follow-up question. We talked about saving money, but it wasn't anything following it up. Like, how much money did you save? Well, let's save this money together. So where it starts, one of the young people that you showed on my website, his name is Champion. He is 6 years old. He has his own business. And his mother told me, she said, when they go to the store, it is always a conversation about whether this is a need or a want. It's a conversation. And I said, "I'm sorry." She said, "No, don't apologize." I'm like, "I'm sorry, you have to go through this every time." She's like, "Don't apologize." You know, I'm saying that in a joking way, but it has to start there. You need to save for your 20-year-old self. And that's what I tell them. You need to save for yourself when you become an adult. That's not that's not something that you do after the fact. You pay yourself first. When you first get your birthday money, what are you going to do with it? Put it all in the piggy bank. I said, "Well, you can spend a little bit, but just at least put half of it in the piggy bank." Because what I don't want them to do is feel like it's just too much and they can't have any fun. No, I want you to have fun. Spend some of that money, right? But we need to create a savings goal. Yeah. Because you don't want to spend all of your money, because then what's going to happen if an emergency? I'm doing my 4 to 7-year-old voice.
Oh no.
So you saw me go back. If there's an emergency, and we talk about, what an emergency may be, in children's terms, as to not scare them, but still, So they always want to make sure that they have money. Then they start telling me how much money they have. I'm like, okay, we don't want to tell everybody how much money you have, but that's great. You know what I mean? So
Hey guys,
really,
stop 1 second. That was a learning lesson, guys. Just like she just did, that was a learning lesson. So the way that she just said, "Hey guys, don't tell everybody about how much money you have." That was a training point right there. She was able to tell them, "Hey, you don't speak loud." Y'all saw what Barbie did. She put out that she made 52 million. Nobody need to know that. So these are the teacher moments. Just like she said, was in the moment. Say how you feel, be nice, like she said, her mommy voice, kids, teacher's voice, and just say it, and they'll get it. Sorry, I just wanted them kind of see the practicality behind
no, it's fine. And with my older students, I tell that story about, my high school self. I tell that story about when I first bought a house in my early 20s and had no idea what a credit score was. I'm literally talking to the mortgage company, and she said, "Your credit score is really great. It's like 750 something." I was like, "Well, what is that?" I'm literally buying a house, had absolutely no idea what a credit score was, had no concept of credit at all, got in a terrible loan because I didn't read the information. So I always emphasize, read and talk to an adult that you trust.
Yeah.
I always emphasize that because I read nothing and talked to nobody. Why? Because I'm grown. I don't need to talk to anybody. Yeah, that did not work out. I'm transparent with them. I said I make the mistake so you won't have to. Learn from what I did. Okay. I lost big in 2008. We know what happened in 2008. I lost big, right? But you rebuild, you keep going, you keep moving. Even if you make another mistake, you brush it off, but eventually you have to learn from your mistakes. You got to open your eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's where the fear is, guys. Don't be afraid to. Oh, you already went through the pain. Like, don't be, because I was just having this conversation yesterday? And I was like, reflecting because I'm finally on break for the next 2 weeks or so. And I was like, you know what? This happened because of this. Okay, now I have to accept this. Like, we just have to kind of accept that a lot of the things that we went through in our past, guys, are actually setting us up to be who we are and to be successful today. So allowing us to reflect back, gaining the lesson, okay, and the training point or the skill set, pulling that out, healing, closing the door is required for you guys to really build generational wealth. Because if you are afraid to really break those barriers, how could you lead by example? And Tyronda said you need to be able to, at least at a minimum, lead by example. And you want to be able to just do it right. We didn't know all of this, guys. So guess what? If you're my age, I'm 36. You are within my age where we were not taught this stuff, y'all. Okay. So take that burden off your back. It was nothing that you were supposed to read in school. They didn't have the books there. I remember my accounting class in high school was irrelevant. I need it now for me as an accountant, but irrelevant to y'all as normal societal individuals. No, y'all didn't need it. So we didn't learn it. So take that off your back. And it starts now. And to correct a mistake is by starting with your children, guys. You don't have to make it hard now. You have entrepreneurs like Tyronda coming out, creating the program and stuff. When I started this journey 10 years ago, trying to start with my little bank with my kids, not even know, it was no program like yours, especially with our skin and the way that we talk and our humor and our, none of that, nothing relative to our community. So guys, you, as I always said it, y'all have it better now than us moms 9 years ago, us moms 10 years ago, 13 years ago. You guys have programs that you can now purchase, okay? Just like their program or hers. I recommend hers because look, guys, I looked at Amazon. It was nothing really with all of the stuff. Not to sell her program, y'all, but I know it's hard because we're dealing with, and they don't want to say it, we're dealing with generational curses. We're dealing with the fact that everything was taken from us. We're dealing with the fact that we had to work hard, then it was taken again. We're dealing with the fact that we go to work, they try to reduce our pay. Just so many money barriers that we had to fight for. But we're here now. We have the resources, Zoe and Xander's Success Guide.
Almost.
Okay.
Almost. Guide to success.
Look at
Almost.
that.
You were almost there.
Coaching is not a diss with the numbers, just a diss in the real.
Maybe I'll change it. Maybe I'll change it.
No, girl, that's me. My brain, and then I'm all over the place right now on break, so my brain
No
is.
worries.
I highly
It's totally
recommend,
fine.
you guys go and check out her program. It looks absolutely amazing, and it starts with you, but it's going to finish with your children. You just have to start the conversation, and they're going to show up, guys, and they are going to show out because they're built a little bit different, and they like them coins.
Yes.
These kids like their money now.
Yes.
They don't play. So yeah,
Yes.
guys, follow Tyronda and her daughter and her nephew at Zoe and Xander's 1. Follow them. Go and purchase the book. Go to Zoe and Xander's. You can find it on Amazon. You can go to our website, purchase it. Let me know if you guys have done it. If you had a family finance fun night, you can incorporate Monopoly. That's how I do it. Incorporate Monopoly, and then you got it. They're not even going to know you whipping it on them. And it's going to be fun. So any last words, Tyronda, before we go?
Well, I'm going to type the link in the chat. So this weekend, I am showing my first documentary. It is about generational wealth. It's called Generational Wealth, Triumphs and Tribulations. It is my tribute to my ancestors. It's about my mother, who was a farmer, grew up in an all-Black town. And it is about my father, who was a sharecropper. And it really just helps to highlight why there is still such a wealth gap with African Americans and other races. So I feel like in order for us to know where we're going, we need to know where we've been. And we also need to understand that African American farmers are still struggling. You know, they're still struggling. They're still trying to find their way. And I just really hope that we can make the money talk less taboo, because making it keeping it taboo really keeps people uninformed. So we have to have these money conversations. It should not be a taboo conversation. So please follow me on Instagram at Zoe and Xander's 1. Go to the link for this Generational Wealth documentary. And let's just make sure that we stay connected. There are many classes that I'll be giving. If you're in the DMV, I do live classes sometimes. If you're not, I have, people who are in, I believe someone's in Kenya and Canada, California. So please just stay connected.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to bring the kids out because you're in my area. So I'll definitely bring the kids out, and I know they're going to enjoy. So it was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Tyronda, for coming on, guys. I hope that you follow them and you've gotten something from this. And the main thing I want you guys to take from this is that just start. Just start. If you go to her website and you can't afford her program, okay, let her know you coming, but just have to start at least the conversation. And then once you have the conversation, you might free up some coins to be able to invest in the program. Guys, I think once we start, like you said, making a taboo, that's when that abundance, that all of that starts to feel like it's true. Wow, I could manifest money. And
reach out to me. Reach out to me. I do. We can have a free consultation. We can talk about your family debt, your goals, anything. Just follow me, message me. We can definitely get together and start planning. I love this. So just please reach out to me.
Perfect. Guys, head over Zoe and Xander's 1. Check out the program. I enjoyed looking at it, and I'm going to get it. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, Tyronda, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, I will see you guys next week. And next week's topic, we're going to be talking about financial spring cleaning, guys. Y'all remember when I told you guys when I started to become debt free and get out of the struggle bus, I couldn't even open up the mail because every time the mail would come, I knew my mortgage was due. Every time mail would come, I knew the bills were due. So I had to break those habits, and it was challenging. And it starts with spring cleaning, open up in the mails and getting started, guys. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week, each and every Tuesday, outside of when I need a break, y'all. At 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm excited, and today was absolutely amazing. Happy April Financial Literacy Month, guys. I'm Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, guys. Have a good night. Bye.